Franciscan-born sort of singer-songwriter fiddler called Laura Cortez, or Cortese, and it came weirdly from an album that was out a couple of years ago, but somehow it's landed in the pigeonhole, so maybe it's being re-released, maybe they're just trying to give the album another push, but have a listen to it after we've heard from this trail.
BBC Six Music.
Steve Lamacq.
So the artist is Laura Cortez, or Cortese, difficult to know, and that is the problem with things that just pop into the pigeonhole unannounced, is there wasn't much information, just like Heaven, obviously a cover of the Cure's classic, and weirdly it was on an album that was released a couple of years ago called Even the Lost Creek, but we're presuming now, we're trying to seek around on the web to find out if we can figure out why it would have popped into the pigeonhole. I'm sure there was information on it. I took a lot of CDs home, the builder's been in, I can't find it, I've mislaid it, I'm not going to lie to anyone, I'm not going to BS you, that's the truth of it, and so it may well be coming out as a single, otherwise I suspect you can find it on that album, and so there we are. You know how much I adore a cover version, but Rufus, did it tickle your fancy?
It did, Steve, and I think the best thing about a really good cover version is it shows the skill of the original songwriter, because it can be completely reinterpreted and still work in a completely new way. And that sounded like some kind of cool gypsy kind of double bass and rhythm players hanging around a campfire display. You know, we've played a few of our own songs. We sometimes do this at the end of the night. Come on, yeah. Let's do that Cure cover. And I thought it was wonderful, particularly the double bass playing. I thought it was gorgeous.
Sammy, that's strong words indeed from Rufus, but you...
But you...
what are your thoughts? What's going on in your brain?
I can understand why it leapt out of the pigeonhole right at you. It was really pretty, and I love it when there's just a few strings going on, and her voice was beautiful. I'd like to hear the album or understand where it came from a little bit more, to hear her own stuff, because it's fair dues bring out a cover, but what's your own stuff like? Why aren't you bringing your own things?
Well, we're only judging that single. Would you pop it on the iPod?
Yeah, definitely.
There are other MP3 available. Harry, you know how much I love a cover version. I thought that was charming.
Yeah, I thought that was Steve compilation CD gold. I can imagine receiving that from you. It was really, really nice. Like Sammy says, I'd like to hear her own stuff, but she's obviously a very accomplished fiddler, and I've never been averse to a little fiddle.
Absolutely, thank you very much indeed. Everyone is surely by now familiar with the fact that Martin Scorsese has made a documentary about the Rolling Stones called Shine a Light, and you may also be aware that there are various kind of duets that feature in this live concert film, including Jack White from the White Stripes, and also Christina Aguilera duetting on Live With Me. Here it is. Thank you very much indeed, Christina. So from this the soundtrack to this new Martin Scorsese documentary on the Rolling Stones, which is called Shine a Light, that is a duet with Christina Aguilera, Live With Me, and so there we are, vocal gymnastics from Christina. I imagine that's the sort of thing that tickles you pink, huh?
Oh, it was horrible, wasn't it? I'd imagine that before they went on stage, Rolling Stones provides a set list to the catering crew in the auditorium, saying Aguilera's coming on here, you know, there's going to be a rush to the bar. It was quite a bad song, but the image I had in my head when you see the Rolling Stones, the great thing about Jagger, he's got such energy, he just spends the whole time running around the stage, and so I can envisage Aguilera running after him in a Benny Hill style. Jagger, this little old man, scuttling across the stage, and Aguilera chasing after him.
But her sort of pretending to be running, but really she knows she could easily catch up with him.
Oh, absolutely.
Any minute, so she's pretending, sometimes has to just run on the spot to give him a bit of distance. No, he's extraordinarily fit, and he does march up and down all the time.
It's very impressive.
Ruth, you're surely a Stones man over the Beatles.
I'm a massive Stones fan. Well, not over the Beatles necessarily, but I'm a big Stones fan. I'm getting into the Stones later than I got into the Beatles. That sounded a little bit like one of those videos I make on my mobile phone. Right. When I'm at a gig and I want to record something and it's some unusual duet going on, I can't wait to play this to Harry or Sammy later on. It sounded a bit like a drum kit falling down a spiral staircase. It was a terrible song, I thought, really.
Did you hate it as much as these guys?
Almost, yes. I really didn't get that. I love Christina Aguilera. I think she's incredible. She has such an amazing voice. She seemed to be the only thing saving that song, and even that was awful. It just did not work. Maybe it's if they went into a studio, put some time aside, some effort, no running round.
That's the thing. Aguilera can sing, but she was just bellowing there.
She was, wasn't she?
Listen, I want to try and squeeze in some Gary Lewis before the end of the show, guys, because he will be here live in session next week, along with Billy Bragg. Super Sunday. We're all looking forward to that. So let me squeeze some of that in, and we'll say goodbye, and you'll join us next week for that. From his recent solo album, obviously Gary Lewis normally plays with the Jayhawks, and here's a track, To Die a Happy Man. See you next week. Hello indeed, Steve Merchant here. Come on, you had to do that link. There's no other way out of that track. Steve Merchant's Six Music, Steve Show with me. Steve Merchant, what do you need to know about me? Well, went for an allergy test this week. Nurse put lots of little pricks in my arm, and I'm now allergic to cats and dogs and dust. So be warned.
How are you going to avoid dust?
Very difficult to avoid dust.
Yeah.
Talking of little pricks, that was one of them. Harry is here in the studio. Also, we got Rufus and Sammy. Good. Thank you very much indeed for coming in. A little round of applause for yourselves. G yourselves up. How's it going? All good. Harry, you work at a bank. Just a quick introduction.
Yeah, I work in a bank.
What's happening at the bank, in the backland at the moment? Pretty tricky.
Yeah, well, it's the start of the tax year, so a lot of work on generally.
Thanks.
But obviously with markets credit crunch, as you like, things are just a bit frantic, to be honest.
Thanks very much.
It's nice to come in on Sunday for a bit of relief.
Yeah, and you've been seeking out new music. You're a posh Rufus.
Hi, Steve.
You were just summarising yourself before we came on air. I think it's the perfect summation for people who perhaps don't know who you are.
I weave, dive, and enjoy every possible felicitation of the tapestry of our world.
Sure.
And I press my trousers, shine my shoes, and wear just the right amount of aftershave.
Perfect. That sums you up impeccably. And we've got the lovely Sammy. Can you, in perhaps a few words or less, summarise yourself for the new listener?
I'm from the north. That's pretty much all you need to know. I'm quite short, and my fringe is about 2 or 3 centimetres too long at the minute. I
it
can't
is
really
annoying.
see. I feel a bit like a shaggy dog.
You've got one of those fringes that annoys me, and I don't even have it.
It's getting to that length where I'm either going to have to get my father to cut it or actually pay money to another person to cut it, which I begrudge.
Sure.
We were actually saying that we were going to get haircuts next week in advance of Super Sunday, because we want to be looking our best.
Big Super Sunday next week. We've got, is it Gary Lewis?
Yeah.
And we've also got Mr. Billy Bragg?
Yeah.
Next week, double session. This week is worth staying tuned as well, because Captain will be in session later on the show. The Beloved, I was looking up The Beloved, right, online, and it says on Wikipedia, now I don't know if this is true, I've got no evidence, I cannot seem to verify this, that The Beloved, in 1983, John Marsh placed an advert in the music press, which read as follows: I am John Marsh, founder member of The Beloved. Should you too wish to do something gorgeous, meet me in exactly 3 years' time at exactly 11 a.m. in Diana's Diner in Covent Garden, and we will form a band. And supposedly, some people showed up, and that's how the band got formed. Now, I've got no evidence of whether that's true. Jude, do you have any idea?
No idea.
64046 Stephen.6music. I'm genuinely intrigued by stories like that. I genuinely would hope that that is how you have formed, you know, a sort of mid-level electronic band from the 80s and early 90s. But it also reminded me, and you read about this group of people that met up, I think was it last week at Liverpool Station, to sing Rick Astley. Are you aware of this? Rick Astley now has become some kind of massive internet phenomenon. Is this right? Where you, what's it called?
Rickrolling.
Rickrolling, where you sort of you put something on a website and it suggests that you're going to see some nudie ladies on another site or some such, and you click over and it's just a video of Rick Astley singing his big hit, which was Never Gonna Give You Up. And so apparently he's got like sort of 7 million hits or something online. He's just like the biggest phenomenon in the world. Anyway, so at Liverpool Street Station, and I don't know how these things how this kind of got organised, but just hordes of people turned up, mingled with the commuters, and then at a particular time, maybe 6 o'clock, they all started singing Never Gonna Give You Up. And then obviously other people joined in, and off it went. I can't help but feel that, again, this is a perfect example of how you can use modern interactivity to combine something beautiful. But I'd love to know, is there anyone listening who was either at Liverpool Street Station or joined in the big sing-along? I'd love to know how I can get involved next time. I'd hate to miss out next time we're doing something like that.
But it's rolling on and on, isn't it? 'Cause it was it happened at a baseball match in the States, like the whole crowd was singing it. It's just...
Yeah, no, I think you've been misinformed there. I
Really?
think that's due to Rickrolling. The website was trying to run a test on what its new tune, its new anthem should be, and lots of people sort of made the suggestion of Rick Astley, although I don't think actually it was chosen. Apparently it got booed when it got played. I don't know. But anyway, yeah, were you there? 64046 Stephen.6music at bbc.co.uk. If you were in Liverpool Street Station, let me know. I'd love to know, maybe I can get involved next time, and maybe if we're doing a hip-hop tune, well, I could lead the sing-song. Debut album is apparently released in May. That's the Ting Tings, and that will feature on it. That's Not My Name. Steve Show, Six Music with me, Steve Merchant. Sammy, you were saying you've been a member of one of these gangs who just turn up somewhere and hassle.
They're called
people.
flash mobs.
Flash mobs.
They don't hassle people. That's the whole point. The idea
bringing
is
joy
to
into
get
the
people to join in. it's one of these things that you're probably not going to be able to get involved with, Steve, because it involves technology, i.e. Facebook.
Ooh, slow down.
Yeah, I know.
And so what you're a member of them, and because it obviously sounds threatening, flash mob, I can't help but feel it sounds like hoodies, what hoodies are up to. I'm being led to believe that hoodies are terrorising the nation. I've often looked out from my ivory tower to see mobs of them wandering over things. And so what happens with the flash mob? How do I get, what if I were to be involved?
I think there's one in every region. I'm part of the Newcastle one, so you probably
Yeah.
have to join the London one. And they message you every now and then and say, this is what's happening on this day at 3 p.m. exactly. We're all going to do this. Don't leave any mess behind, and then go home. That's it. That's the rule.
And have you done any yet?
I did New Year's Eve and the countdown for New Year's Eve in May last year.
Right.
Near the monument in Newcastle.
I'm
everyone
confused, I
looked
don't see how that-
baffled. But we did the countdown and all sang at Auld Lang Syne and joined arms, and there must have been about 1,000 people. It's a small city centre.
Yeah, wow.
And everyone looked a bit baffled. Some people did join in, including most of the homeless people in Newcastle. It was lovely. We all just seemed really happy for about 5 minutes and then dissipated.
The homeless people thinking, wow, that year went by a lot quicker than I thought. Extraordinary. And
looking at their bottles in a comical way.
yeah, like in a James Bond film or something, when
Yeah,
he
yeah.
emerges from the sea in one of his underwater cars. There's always that scene, someone drinking a bottle of XXX whiskey, looks at it, and then throws it away as if to say, I'll never drink again.
yeah.
Of course. And so it sounds like it was quite good fun. And do you sort of talk and interact and communicate, maybe go and have some cheese and wine with the people afterwards, or
The
you just sort of
idea
disappear
is
again?
to not talk and not look like you're gathering for something, because then it looks like something's about to happen. The idea is to just kind of be hanging around and then all go into something for about a minute, 2 minutes, and then all disappear.
But how can you be certain that when you start singing Auld Lang Syne, other people will start singing it? Isn't there that?
I think it's normally done around a clock, so you can hear or see something, so everyone will start at the same
But I'm saying that what if you start, maybe it's just a giant practical joke via Dom Jolly,
There
and he
is
stitched
normally
you
a
up.
leader.
There's normally a leader.
and sometimes the leader will give signals to do certain things.
Yeah.
And obviously the leader is the one who sends the emails out in the first place. But there hasn't been one for a while, which is sad.
You want to be careful. Some sort of leader emailing you, telling you things to do. Before you know it, you'll be married. You'll have like 4 kids. You'll be living on a big ranch in Texas.
Yeah.
It's not a good.
But you'll just be one of 16 wives.
Yeah, absolutely.
And there'll be an ugly, ugly siege involving the CIA,
The FBI, yeah,
and mortar
exactly.
bombs. Yeah.
It sounds like the sort of thing that would repulse you, Rufus. A man of your sort of decorum and gentlemanliness. That's not the British way, is it? Just to have a big sing-song in the street?
No, I'm a big fan of that. The only difficulty I've got with flash mobs is I've met someone who helps to run the London ones once, and we were having a conversation in the pub about what we were up to, and she asked me about my acting and so on. I talked about it. I said, "What are you up to?" She said, "Well, I'm very much involved in the flash mob thing," and talked about that for a bit. And I said, "Yeah, but what's your job? What's your job?" And she said, "Well, the flash mobs. That's one."
That's
I was
filling up a lot of time.
Please tell me how you get paid for organising loads.
She sounds like the sort of woman who doesn't get up till 3 in the afternoon and probably sleeps on a mattress on the floor with no
Yeah,
bed.
I'd imagine that's what it is.
Yeah.
But she probably works in a job centre or something, and that's how she earns her money. But the flash mob thing, and the flash mob was more interesting than job centre probably. But I did get a bit confused about why that was her job.
I doubt she ever sleeps. She's probably just awake all the time, waiting for the next call to come in.
Yeah.
You're
Exactly,
needed
yeah,
at some
yeah,
random
yeah.
location to
Yeah.
I don't know, wear a big jumper or something.
Exactly, have a pillow fight.
Well, let me know. Get on the touch on the seeing maybe a new flash mob, and you need maybe a big celebrity face and I mean literally a big celebrity face. There's a big old face I got on me, and I'm towering 2 foot above the rest of the mob, like a sort of, you can dance around me like a maypole. I noticed you've got some interesting looking books there.
I have,
Rufus.
Steve, yeah.
Maybe I should play another tune. I'll come out and find out what
Okay.
you've got them for.
Yeah.
Interesting. From his 1970 Moondance album, that's Van Morrison, of course, and Into the Mystic. Steve Show, Six Music with me, Steve Richard. So Rufus, you brought a couple of interesting looking books there. I can't help but notice one of them's called The Last Englishman.
That's right, we're going to get onto that one, Steve. These are 2 books that I've stolen from my mother's charity book fair for the Elizabeth Finn Trust for Distressed Gentlefolk.
You've stolen them.
Yes,
That seems appropriate,
Yeah.
yeah.
Exactly. This, the first book I've decided to... I'm not doing a book review like we did towards the end of last year, but I do want to draw this book to your attention. It's called Coastwise Cruising.
Coastwise Cruising, okay.
And the author of the book, I'm just going to remove this post-it note here. The author of the book, can you read his name out?
Wow, Tim Sex. Tim Sex.
That's right.
Coastwise Cruising.
And
Now, is it? It's just because on the cover there's a bunch of people who are sort of fairly easygoing, but on a boat,
That's
perhaps
right.
cruising across the English Riviera.
Yeah,
Riviera.
Riviera.
the Riviera. And so there's a slight suggestion that it could be rude. I'm presuming it's not to do with cruising in any.
It's nothing to
untoward
do with
sense.
cruising as you and I know as urbanites.
In the modern day, yeah.
However, if you read the description, the first line on the back there, just read that out.